inside, the mitochondrion is goosed along and stimulated to produce more energy in the form of ATP without anything. And the antioxidant is effective in single cells, and increased production of superoxide dismutase by the liver is a double benefit. The anti-inflammatory suppression, the stress reduction, pH balance, and most importantly, no additives. There's no bromocryptine, there's no dye, there's no funky stuff in there, and no non-fructose sugars or what have you. Now, what's next? The next is the final step, and unfortunately, you know, it's an expensive step, and that is to get this data published in a peer-reviewed medical journal. And it takes about a year to do that. Publishing medical studies is labor-intensive. You have to go through all kinds of checks, balances. Every reference has to be accurate and so on. But I think the way I've been pleased to have help from you, and I'm going to talk to Mr. Oshiro again. I think the time has come for the company to put a few bucks on the plate, you know. So that's the next step, and that'll be the last step. And then we're hoping to do some other studies. I would love to do a rheumatoid arthritis study. I tell you, another study I'd love to do is a nursing home study. You see people in nursing homes, and you know, you walk in some nursing homes, Christ, the smell in there would knock over a cow. It's because the urine is concentrated, the people are, and they're all dehydrated. They all look, you know, back in the Boston City when I was an intern, we used to call them add water people. And they bring them in, they're all shriveled up. You give them 2 liters of Ringer's lactate and a little sugar water IV. Hey, Sonny, what am I doing here? You know, they come to life again. And I think we could do a study very easily and get real numbers. You know, get 400 people. That's a real number. So those are the things that we're thinking about. And we're going to continue raising funds one way or the other, unless I decide to retire.
No.
In which case,
You're too young to retire.
You're too young.
my wife might be happy. Anyway, now, the cost of research is high. Make no mistake. When you have these people come and sign up on the dotted line to volunteer for a study, first of all, they have to meet certain criteria. They have to have a physical exam. They have to have blood tests done, and all of that at your expense, not theirs. They also have to be paid by law, and they have to go through a program of approval from certain agencies, like an internal review board that would review whether or not the study could do harm to the patients, because there are studies that could potentially do harm to the patients, but they're at a much different level and much more expensive. But in any case, the most important is the analyzing of samples, because some of that chemistry is complicated, and then of course writing manuscripts and getting it published in the right journal. And so it's expensive, and therefore we'll run around here, you know, passing the hat. Now, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to Mr. Oshiro, because he got this started. He coughed up the money, he gave us the support, and I always, you know, Fred and I are close because we live close together. I live in northern Arizona, and he lives in Henderson, so it's 90 miles away from my house. And then Mr. Higa, who navigated through this business of selling the pamphlet and so on, making that possible. They could have said, we won't do it, and they did, so he came through for me. And then Go-san and Charlie and Fukuda-san, who've been unbelievable. We had an issue in the laboratory in Oregon with a machine not cranking out a significant ORP. Well, Fukuda-san came up, drove up, you know, 800 miles, and went to work on the machine, and it was just a fluke. It was a lousy machine. I don't know why, maybe somebody dropped it, but had we not discovered that error in the ORP, 300 is too low for anything. This whole thing would have gone by the wayside, but we didn't because I knew better. I knew that the machine can make a better ORP, and so I originally put that in my publication, and then I got all this flack. Don't put that in there, Doc. Don't put that in there because people will think we have a crummy machine. Well, I don't care who you are. I don't know if any of you, I bought a Mercedes-Benz one time, and it was a lemon. It was a total lemon. So it happens. Anyway, and then all of you here who have helped me, all of you who have bought the publication, and you know, I kind of enjoy it. I was in Las Vegas 2 weekends ago, and gave a talk. The number of people that come and ask really good questions, I'm up for it. I work the crowd. I mean, I'm there all afternoon and taking pictures and stuff. Which is okay. But the point is that this is a great product. You don't get a better product than this. And having the ammunition to say, look, this is not a humbug. This is not fraud. This is not magical. This is scientifically correct. That's the way to go. So that was the pitch to forget about that. Just thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to me. If you have some time for questions, I'll be happy.